Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, time was when baseball used to be the #1 sport in the United States. The biggest event of the year was the World Series, not the Super Bowl. But it now trails football and basketball in fan interest. And there are some pretty obvious reasons for that. Baseball is not an action-packed game. Like the other sports have a lot more action in them. And it takes quite a while, usually pretty well over 3 hours, to complete a game. So this is kind of out of touch with today's fast-paced sensibilities. Compared to other sports, baseball is slow-paced and staid. And there are 162 games in a season. So no one game is that important. And the idea that fans are going to show up for all 162 games, I mean, who has that kind of time and money? And with the growth of soccer, fewer kids are growing up playing baseball now. Baseball, you have to organize 18 kids to get a game going, although there are variations where you use less people, but still, baseball takes, you have to have a certain amount of people and a certain amount of room. So there's fewer kids growing up with baseball nowadays. Now, I still think it's a great game. But I understand that today's youth might think of it as a little boring, standing around in the field all day waiting for something to happen, and kind of stodgy. An example of this is when players get a big hit, the pitchers really resent it if the player celebrates. Especially when they do this bat flip thing, which I think looks kind of cool. They flip the bat up in the air, and the younger players do like to do that. And the pitchers think that they're being shown up. Now, there is a difference between celebrating what you've done and showing up the other guy. And look, I do think athletes do tend to get carried away with their celebrations, but I don't see any harm in it. But pitchers will often retaliate for excessive celebration by throwing the ball at the players on their next at bat. And this is both stupid and dangerous. And in the American League, they have the designated hitter, so the pitchers don't come to the bat, so they feel like they're immune from any kind of retaliation. But there is a way for players to discourage pitchers from engaging in this very, very dangerous practice. And it's old-fashioned baseball. The batter drops a bunt towards the first base, which causes the first baseman to have to come in to field the bunt, and the pitcher has to run to cover the base. The batter then hustles down the baseline and will arrive at the base at pretty much the same time as the pitcher, but with a perfect angle to slam into his ass and knock him down and maybe even step on him with their spikes. And that will pretty much discourage a pitcher from throwing at a batter. So all you ball players out there, sharpen up your bunting skills and sharpen your spikes. Knock a few pitchers down, and I guarantee you, they'll keep the ball over the plate. Thanks for listening.